Hello and welcome back to the Catch a Turtle game. Today we're working on the section Display a Score starting at step 26. So if you're not there yet, go to activity 1.2.1, step 26. So where we left off, we had just gotten our turtle to move every time we clicked it to a random location. Now we're going to try to display a score, which shows how many times the turtle has gotten clicked. So let me look at the steps here. We're going to go step by step and write some code. So your shape is now moving around the screen, but the game is not complete until there is a score. Your next step is to track a score. Step 26 says, in the game configuration section of your code, create a new variable called score with a starting value of 0. So I'm going to go to my CodeHS tab and I'm going to, let's see, it said in the game configuration section of your code. Oh, here's the game configuration section. I need a new variable called score and I'm going to set it equal to 0. What is next? Score is a unique variable in this game because you will want the variable to be accessible throughout the program. It needs to be a global variable. Global variables, we're going to talk about this more in class, but they are accessible anywhere in a program, inside of a function definition, outside a function. There are also, I guess the opposite would be a local variable, which would be accessible usually just within the function where it is defined. So let's keep going. The program in the code editor below uses two shapes. The circular turtle does not define the global variable in its update score function, and the square turtle does. Should we see what this does? So I don't see a lot happening. Let's keep going to step 28. In the game functions section of your Catch a Turtle code, create a new function called update score that has no parameters. So we're going to define another function in the game functions section of the code. I think I'll put it here in between the two. DEF for define a function, and it's called update score. It takes no parameters, which means we have parentheses that are empty. And we always want to remember our colon. That lets Python know the steps below are part of our function. Okay, so 28 is done. 29, add a few lines of code to update score so that it includes the global score. Let's do that first. So that means underneath here we write global score. It should increment the score by 1. So score equals score plus 1. That's what increment means, right? Increment means to increase something by a small amount. In programming, typically we are incrementing by 1. We're often counting things. And the other thing we want to do is print the score. Print the value score. Okay. In your spot clicked function, add a line of code to call the update score function within the change position function. So that's basically saying when our spot gets clicked, in addition to changing the position, we want to update the score because we just had that click event. We just clicked on the turtle. We want to keep track of the score as part of our game. So we're updating our score every time the turtle gets clicked. going to run our code and test it out. What happens? Any predictions? It looks a lot like before. But did you notice we're also getting the score down here? So now that we've tested our code out, we see that we're tracking our score, but it would be nice to, as it says here, to make a functional game, you want to display the score on the actual game screen. That would be nice. To do this, you will first need a new turtle that writes the score on the game screen. So we're going to think about creating a new turtle called Score Writer. And the instructions say to put this in the appropriate section of your code. So we do have a section of code where we define turtles, right? We worked on that here in initialize turtle. That's where we initialized this turtle that I called try. So I think I'm going to skip a line and make a new section for this new turtle. I think it was called Score Writer. Score Writer equals trtl dot turtle. So this function, trtl turtle, uses this turtle library, trtl, to create a new turtle object. Anytime you're creating a new object, you see an uppercase letter. Okay, so we've done that. What is the current position of Score Writer? Any predictions? It should be in the center, right? Maybe we have to define its shape. Okay. So Score Writer equals turtle.turtle. And it's in the center of the screen. And we might want to think about where's the best place to put the score. I think probably in one of the corners, right? Maybe we'll go for the top left. Let's try that. So I think that means we want to use the goto command to move Score Writer to the location we have identified. And we might want to lift Score Writer before moving it. That basically means we don't want to leave a line behind and trace our path. So let's go ahead and we'll have Score Writer dot pen up so we don't leave a path. And Score Writer dot go to. If we want this area, it's probably going to be negative, I'm going to guess 180. And a positive y value, maybe also 180. And we can see where that takes us. There we go. Now I see my turtle. All right, let's keep that for now. We'll see how it works with the printing. All right. 34 is done. 35. Run your code. Does Score Writer move how you expected? I would say so. Next, create a variable called font setup and make it equal to Arial 20 with a normal font style. So I'm going to copy these configuration values, and remember my variable will be called font setup. So let me go into the game configuration area with all my variables. Font setup equals the following. Great. Replace the print statement and update score to score writer dot write score font equals font setup. No, I might not be able to copy all this. Okay. I think I'll type it in score underscore writer dot write. And this is in the update score. Instead of printing the score, we're going to have score writer, the turtle, do a little writing. And again, it is writing the score. So we put that first. And then we're going to tell it to use the font variable that we set up. Font equals font setup. Font equals font underscore setup. So this is a reference to the font setup that we put in our game configuration a little while ago. It's telling our turtle to use the Arial font in size 20 without any bold or underline attributes, and to hopefully write right next to the turtle. Let's run it and see. Oh, I see a score. Okay, it's working. What do you notice? I think every time I click, the number is just written on top of the other numbers that have been there before. So we're going to end up with a black rectangle pretty soon, which is going to make it pretty hard to read the score. So what do you need to add to your code so that it works properly? We got a hint. The current problem is that the score never erases. Let's look at this new turtle method, clear. It's used to clear what the turtle has written like an eraser. So we could have our current turtle, score writer, call this clear function. Let's try that. So before we print the score, maybe an update score, we're going to do score writer dot clear. So hopefully that will clear away what was written earlier. This is looking better. Oh, that looks much better. Okay. So we've done step 40 where we fixed our code so that it erases each time it updates. Ensure your game is functioning as it should at this point. Your game should move the shape every time it's clicked and update the score. Done, it's working. Good for us. So test your code a little bit more, make sure things are working, and also think about adding some comments to explain what your code is doing throughout the program. All right, good luck with the project. Let me know if you have any questions in class, or I'm always around after school too. Take care. Bye.